Hey everyone, and welcome to the Boost Your Biology podcast. My name is Lucas, and I'm the founder of Ergogenic Health. Together in this podcast series, we will go underground to explore cutting-edge health and human performance insights that you simply cannot search on Google to help you upgrade your existence. So, without any further ado, let's jump into today's episode. Unfortunately, this is going to be somewhat controversial, but it is absolutely imperative that I get this message out there for those that suffer from blunted pleasure and or reduced sensitivity to stimulants. What I will do is take a look at how NAC or N-Acetyl-Cysteine may actually exert a blunting effect on someone's mood and pleasure response, and specifically cause emotional flatlining or emotional numbing. So before we get into this, obviously many of you will already know about what N-Acetyl-Cysteine is due to the virus that we all unfortunately went through. N-Acetyl-Cysteine appeared to possess some favorable effects here. But what I want to do is take a look at what N-Acetyl-Cysteine actually is. Now, specifically, NAC is a precursor of the antioxidant glutathione, which has actually been used to loosen thick mucus in the lungs and treat acetaminophen overdose for decades. However, NAC can also boost the immune system, suppress viral replication, and reduce inflammation. Here are some of the other benefits of NAC and some of the other biological activities and therapeutic uses of NAC. So we can see that NAC has been deployed in the context of liver diseases. It can lower AST, ALT, liver enzyme markers. Many athletes have noticed this. Many bodybuilders have noticed this. It can help to treat or overcome paracetamol overdose. So they actually prescribe this to treat drug overdose. It's also used in neurodegenerative diseases. It's also used in sickle cell disease, cardiovascular diseases. In particular, the one that I'm focusing on is the substance use disorders. Now, just bear in mind, anything that's used to treat or silence addiction or have a dampening effect on addictive parameters, think about the implications for the everyday person that may not have any addictive tendencies, or they may not have any addiction to anything harmful per se. If something's having a dampening effect on addiction for someone who does not have, again, a very harmful addiction such as cocaine addiction, meth abuse, heroin addiction, then what effect does this have in the everyday person? Does this also dampen the pleasure response from everyday life? It's also been used to treat like OCD, obsessive compulsive disorder, kidney diseases, infectious diseases, eye disease, male infertility, cancer, gastrointestinal diseases, and lung diseases. So how does NAC work? Well, obviously acting as a precursor to glutathione appears to have a potent anti-inflammatory effect. NAC elicits potent anti-inflammatory effects, and many people have noticed this. It's something that I would personally draw upon if I was undergoing severe lung inflammation. We can see that NAC suppresses NF-kappa B activation, decreasing TNF-alpha, interleukin-1, interleukin-6. It's a reducing agent. It has mucolytic action, so breaking up mucus, making it more thin. It's an indirect antioxidant, so it can increase the levels of intracellular cysteine, which is a building block and limiting step for the rate synthesis of glutathione. And then also it has chelating action, so it's capable of binding transition metal ions and heavy metal ions, forming complexes which are readily excreted by the body. So it's also used as part of heavy metal detoxification. So how might NAC cause a flatline effect on someone's mood, or more of like an anhedonic flattened mood state? So this particular study here was titled "The Effect of NAC on Amphetamine mediated dopamine release in rat brain striatal slices by ion pair reversed phase high performance liquid chromatography. Massive title, really complicated, but basically, again, although it's a rat study, brain slices, whether or not it translates to humans, more research is needed. However, what this study seems to suggest is that NAC has a dampening effect on dopamine release in a part of the brain that's responsible for motivation, reward, and goal-oriented behavior. What I'll do now is go through weaker forms of evidence. Obviously, this is anecdotal reports. There's going to be a lot of people that get a bit frustrated that this is just like looking at anecdotal evidence, but I'll sort of try and sum it up towards the end. But basically, what we can see here, I went through some threads on Reddit. Anyone can do this. This doesn't require a lot of skill. But basically, look at this. First guy says, the anhedonia with NAC is real. This guy's saying, holy crap, I usually take it when I'm in a low stimulatory type situations. But the pronounced effects of anhedonia are really showing. Went out with a couple of mates. To my disbelief, I just couldn't feel anything. No pleasure in the activity whatsoever. We also went to a band showing to celebrate my friend performing, and while everyone was up and down enjoying themselves, I physically, mentally, emotionally couldn't. I quite literally remember just literally dissecting the situation, and basically just very meh all around. I even drank 2 cups of coffee, had a shit ton of beers and nicotine, plus even regrettably a line of cocaine, and I still didn't feel it. Absolutely insane. I'm definitely stopping for the foreseeable future. Pretty insane report. Obviously it's N equals 1, but I'm just putting this out there. And again, get the comments going down below. Have you noticed NAC dampening your mood, dampening your pleasure response, or dampening and blunting stimulants? Drop a comment down below. Let's get a discussion going. This next person said, NAC blunting excitement. I'm taking 600 milligrams of NAC a day and really like the benefits of less anxiety, less social anxiety, better sleep, and also I feel it helps with weight loss. However, I'm noticing that I don't get excited about things like I used to. And it's small things like looking forward to TV time after the kids are in bed, or looking forward to Friday. Those small things would make me happy and give me something to look forward to. Guys, whenever somebody's saying it's blunting the ability to look forward to things, this is called anticipatory anhedonia. I've spoken about this before, but it's when people lose the thrill and excitement leading up to something that they find enjoyable. That is anticipatory anhedonia. This is actually seen in many individuals with OCD. And then the other form of that is the consumatory anhedonia, which is the inability to experience pleasure in the moment whilst the person is experiencing pleasure or a rewarding situation. So again, we're able to see that NAC is blunting excitement in this individual. This next anecdote says NAC renders amphetamines useless. This guy's saying, I've been taking Levothen Nutrition IRE for about 5 weeks. One ingredient is 750 milligrams of NAC. I took my ADHD medicine for the first time since using this particular supplement, and it had no effect. I see that NAC may be responsible for this. Does anyone know how long I should wait between NAC and amphetamine? Again, there are many other people who've said that NAC makes their stimulants feel weaker. Next one was titled, NAC literally stops Adderall from working. What's up with that? I've been taking NAC every day for nootropic purposes and decided to have a fun Adderall-filled day yesterday. I literally didn't hit it at all and there was zero euphoria. I was still stimulated to be sure, but literally all the enjoyable manic parts of the high were just gone. I also never got that depressed, shitty feeling afterward either. Wow, this is interesting. So we're seeing that it's blocking the high, the euphoria from the stimulant or the dopamine releasing agent, but he never got the come down or depression after. So here, this indicates how NAC is beneficial to block extra or supraphysiological dopamine levels. And this is why I would never consider NAC as part of a stack to boost motivation. So here are the theories. Again, we've just looked at heaps of anecdotal evidence or very weak form of evidence, but it's my job here to try and bring together everything, some science, the truth, and everything that we can sort of come up with your own interpretation. Do not take everything that I say as gospel. Do your own research. I'm here to present theories and what I've found. So number one, my theory in that how NAC affects this mood or blunted mood. Number one, by reducing neuronal glutamate levels. NAC actually stimulates a group 2 metabotropic glutamate receptors, which leads to inhibition of synaptic release of glutamate. Now, this NAC increases the activity of the cysteine glutamate antiporter that regulates glutamate levels, especially in the nucleus accumbens core, which is associated with reward. Since stimulants increase glutamate levels throughout much of the brain, a dampening in the rewarding effects by NAC isn't too surprising. Now, yes, NAC modulates glutamate so strongly it will win against even heroic doses of meth. NAC does this by donating the much needed and exceedingly rare amino acid cysteine to the cysteine glutamate exchange. Now, NAC not only reins in glutamate during overexcitation, but also boosts glutamate when low. Say when for example, a stim addict or like somebody who's addicted to stimulants is going through withdrawal, NAC will modulate glutamate back up to its regular set point. And so NAC is truly a godsend for those that are addicted to stimulants and are trying to recover. That's when NAC can be utilized. So my takeaways here is to consider lowering your dosage of NAC if you are sensitive to the numbing effects, similar to the effects that ashwagandha can elicit, the anhedonia. So consider maybe lowering your dosage of NAC. The other point is to potentially change the time in which you're dosing. So maybe use NAC in the evening away from stimulants. And consider using another antioxidant like C60, which I've got on my website. It's another potent antioxidant. Doesn't have the exact same effects of NAC, but it does appear to have some very powerful antioxidant properties. Or perhaps even pure liposomal glutathione, which doesn't appear to have this anhedonic-like effects. Now, the negative flatlining mood effects or anhedonia elicited by NAC may be in part mediated through counteracting the striatal dopamine release and or lowering glutamate levels. These are the theories that I believe may be at play to see how NAC affects stimulants response, mood, and pleasure response. Thank you everyone for joining in to today's episode. For in-depth show notes and lessons learned, visit nofilter.media/boost your biology.
This has been a No Filter Media production.
Say what you want.